We're live. Let's do it. All right. So, what's up, guys? I wanted to talk about something real quick today that has been on my heart. A couple things have come up last week just through normal circumstances and have some conversations. We're going to talk today about is giving below or at or above expectations. Many of us believe that if we give above expectation or right at expectation, that's a job well done. We'll get rewarded for that. We've met where we're supposed to be. We've hit the target that's expected of us, and therefore we should get good results from that. The unfortunate reality of the situation is that's not how the scale works. The scale in life works extremely different, right? In life, we think that if we meet an expectation, we should get a reward, right? If we get a star when we go to school, when we're in elementary school, we should get a toy afterwards. Well, as we get older, that's not how it works, right? We get a star when we come home from school, no one notices at all. That's just the standard that's been set. So whether you're working with a customer today or throughout the week, or you're having or you're at home with your spouse and you think you've done 50%, or you're having a sort of any type of conflict or any type of situation where you're trying to meet an expectation that you know is there, I want to challenge you with this. Giving below expectation, you will experience extreme failure. I think most of us understand that. If in anything in our life, if there's an expectation and we're not meeting that expectation, we know that we're going to experience some significant amount of pain. If we have a job and we're below our expectations, the problem is we probably won't have that job for a long time. If we have a customer and we're not meeting their expectations, they're probably going to fire us. That's how that works. If we have a spouse and we're not meeting their expectations, that probably doesn't end well either, right? Then the next, so that's pretty obvious for most of us. The second part is where I think a lot of people it gets messy, right? Giving right at expectation, no one notices you. You think, I do a good job. How many times have people said that? I do a good job. Here's the reality of the case in life. Doing a good job gets you absolutely nothing. If you do a good job with a customer, they remember you zero. They don't have, their interaction with you is a non-event. They're on to the next thing. You help them solve their problem, and then as soon as they're off the phone, they're done, right? Giving an expectation gives you, it gives you complacent results. So I call these people drifters. They just drift through life and they give right at the expectation line, and then they go to themselves, I just never get the big break. I'm just unlucky. I never get what I want. Nobody really appreciates me. Well, the reality is because you're giving exactly what's expected, and in life that doesn't work very well. Then the next section is giving above expectations. So if you give above expectations, you think, well, I do a better job. I do a really good job. I do more than what's expected to me. Well, unfortunately, giving above expectation gives you average results. You will inconsistently get wins. You will experience some success. You'll experience some wins. But the reality of the case is you do a good job. Some people notice. Some people will give you some feedback. But the reality is, and you guys know this because you've had interactions, if you have a good experience, usually you get off the phone, or usually you leave the restaurant, or usually when you go anywhere, you go, oh, that was pleasant, that was nice, and then it's a non-event. Some people notice, some people go out of their way, but the reality is they just say, oh, I had a good experience, but then it stops there. Here's the place that everybody else wants to play. Everybody else wants to play in those first three zones, right? And they leave everything to chance, right? Where I would love to challenge all of us, and I'm trying to challenge myself on this every single day, is we need to live in the space that only the high achievers live in. Napoleon Hill called it something, he called going the extra mile. Okay, going the extra mile, going way above expectation gets you noticed. Delivering way more than is expected in you makes you outstanding. It gives you extraordinary results. And here's what the cool thing is. Maybe 10% more effort is needed in order to go way above expectations. But literally you'll get 100 plus or exponential percentage more in results. Your output will not be correlated with what your input is. The person that hops off the phone just does a good job and goes a little bit over expectation, and then the person that sends flowers to somebody's house after a closing, they didn't really do that much more. It's not like it's this significant amount more effort, but the amount of results they're going to get from that particular customer is exponential. It's off the charts. These are the people that people say are lucky. These are the people say that always just good things happen to them. These are the people that say they're just a fan favorite. They just got some sort of it factor. The bottom line is, in life, in relationships, in business, with our kids, with everything that we do in our life, going right above expectation gets us average results. Going at expectation is going to get us below average results. Going way below expectation is going to be a real big problem for you. But going way above the expectations, I'm talking 10%, 15% more effort, will give you exponential results. So when you're working with customers this week, when you're interacting with anybody this week, ask yourself, where's the expectation line? Where is the line to where if I deliver on what it is that I said I was going to deliver, that I'm going to do a good job? And then I would ask the question of, what's it going to take to go way over that line? Go the extra mile. Do something that stands out. And I would love to hear your feedback, but I promise you, if you do that on a consistent basis, it doesn't matter in any aspect of your life, it's a philosophy. It's how you think, how you hold it, and how it affects what you do. If you have a good attitude, that if you do this, you'll get proper results. If you go the extra mile in life, in everything that you do, all of a sudden, you'll be the lucky person. All of a sudden, things just start happening for you. All of a sudden, people are just looking around going, why do they get so lucky? How does this keep happening to them? Because they consistently, over time, go way above whatever the expectation is. I'll leave you with this story real quick. And it reminds me, I was in middle school basketball, 8th grade. Was one of the best players in the school at the time. And there was a group of us that grew up together. We played. There was probably 10 or 12 of us. We were really, really good. We had a new basketball coach come in 8th grade. He was a football coach. He didn't know anything about basketball. He came in, he ran a tryout. Bottom line was, almost every single one of my friends, the guys that were really good, that everybody knew in the school, none of us got picked up on the basketball team. So I still remember this day. You go to the gym, you see that, we've all seen that. You go to this chart where it shows who made it and who didn't. And I'm going down the list, and of course I'm going to make the basketball team. I mean, it's of course. And I'm looking down this list, and all of a sudden, my name's not on the list. And then a bunch of my buddies are thinking the same thing. Their names aren't on the list. I mean, these are good basketball players. I mean, it's obvious. And I'm devastated. I mean, I'm beyond devastated. I'm embarrassed to say, but I'm in bawling tears. I'm in 8th grade. I'm bawling tears. I call my dad. I'm like, I gotta come home. I walk home. I'm like, I can't be here right now. I was absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. And I'm walking home, and I'll never forget, I get home and I talk to my dad, and of course, my dad's probably heartbroken, right? He sees his son just devastated. This is all his kid cares about, right? It's his last year in middle school. And he looks at me and he says, well, what are you going to do about it? And I said, what do you mean I'm going to do about it? I'm not going to do anything about it. I didn't make the team. Like, it's over for me. He goes, yeah, it could be over for you. Or you could go tell the coach that you'll be the water boy and you'll be the manager for the season. And then maybe if you over-deliver on expectations, he might give you a shot to play. And I looked at him and I was like, my first reaction is, I'm mad. Of course I'm going to say no way. And after I cool off the next day, I take his advice. I go into coach. I say, Coach, I want to talk to you. I said, I understand your decision. I understand. I get it. I'd like to be a part of the team any way that I can. I'd like to be the manager. Do you know how hard that is to take your ego? You're one of the best players in the school, and you go, all right, you know what? I'll get everybody water and I'll run drills. But it taught me a very valuable lesson. And he said, just continue to give way more than what is expected in practice, and I promise you'll get a shot. So we get 3 games in, and all of a sudden he starts needing some people to run drills. And of course I want to run drills, so I volunteer to do that. I mean, I'm talking defensive drills. Everybody's running drills, and I'm the defensive guy. Slowly over time, he starts to see that I can play. Just continue to every single opportunity go way, way, way above. Way above. I was the first one to get there every time. I was the last one to leave every time. I mean, I would sweep the floor. I would get the water. I would do all the stuff that everybody, that you would want to do to get a shot. After 4 games, he goes, man, I think you should play. In my back of my mind, I'm going, yeah, no shit. But I'm ecstatic. Anyway, long story short, we go on to play that season. I end up being the second leading scorer for that season. I get to play my 8th grade year. And all of these other guys that didn't make it, All they did was just bitch all season long that they didn't pick up, that the basketball coach doesn't know what he's talking about, this is a joke. And they literally complained the entire season, and I got to play my season because my dad taught me a very, very valuable lesson. Giving at expectations gets you absolutely zero in life. Nothing. If you want nothing out of life, just give at expectation level. You'll get nothing. But if you go the extra mile, if you just give 10, 15% more than the next guy, you will get hundreds of percent. You'll get compounded results, because the bottom line is most people stop at the line. Wherever the standard is, that's where people go. So ask yourself the question, every single call, every single contact, every time you write an email, every time you're going to do something this week, ask yourself, what's the expectation line? What is my competitor doing? What would a normal person do it? Hey, what is the person to my right and to my left in the office? What are they doing? What would it take to go 10, 15, 20% more and go the extra mile and do something that someone's not expecting? And I would love to know the results that you get, but I promise you they will be 100 times better than the ones that you're getting right now. So don't go with the expectation line. Go the extra mile and see what happens. Peace.